Hello, my name is Nisha Shanmugaraj and I am the Assistant Director of the Global Communications Center. Today this video is going to be talking about something called bottom line up front. So this video is going to teach you how to effectively use topic sentences in your academic writing. I actually want to start this video by looking at an example and thinking about what's wrong with this example. So imagine that you are writing an email to a policymaker, and in your email you're trying to convince this policymaker that workplace bullying, so bullying in the professional workplace context, is a problem and is a big enough problem that it needs a law at the state level to do something about it. So what I want you to do now actually is pause your video and read this email that you've written, that Jane Doe has written. As you read, I want you to be thinking about what is wrong with this email. So go ahead and pause, read, and figure out what's wrong here. So I think there's a few things that could be improved with this email, but the number one thing that I'm thinking of is that this email includes a lot more information than what I need. I'm imagining that I am Melinda. I am a policymaker. I'm very busy, most likely, and I probably receive hundreds of emails every day. And this email is a little bit frustrating, to be honest, because I am not sure what I'm supposed to do. I'm not sure what this email is asking me, and I'm having to work very hard to figure out what it is asking me. I know that Jane Doe is writing to me about workplace bullying, but I'm getting a lot of information about definitions and statistics and questions that Jane Doe is asking, and I'm really getting impatient because I don't have a lot of time and I need to know what is relevant in this email to me. So hopefully this example illustrates that writing is effective not just when it has good organization and good grammar and correct grammar, but rather writing is most effective when it reduces the work that your reader needs to do. And how you can reduce that work is actually by emphasizing the bottom line. So when I say bottom line, this is an expression that actually comes from finance. So when you're looking at a spreadsheet like this, your bottom line is literally the bottom line. So the bottom lines of the bottom rows of the spreadsheet have the net profit and the net loss. So if I am a busy decision maker, I can simply scan to where I'm expecting to find this information and find the net profit and loss for each month. Then if I have questions or concerns, I can go back into some of the details of the figures and look for myself. Now, this bottom line structure also applies for writing, but the only difference is that the convention dictates that we are looking for our bottom line at the beginning of the paragraph, not at the end. So when you think about this, let's think about when you're actually writing something. So let's say I'm writing a paragraph. When I'm just trying to write, my biggest concern is getting my ideas out as fast as possible. So I start at the beginning, I'm thinking, talking through on the paper, as it were, what my thoughts are, developing my ideas, and just trying to get something down on paper. And finally, towards the end, I reach my main idea. I reach my conclusion. Now this is writer-based prose. This is prose or writing that is most concerned with me and my needs, exactly what I have to do to write this, which is basically get things out as fast as possible. Now, unfortunately, what you need to do requires an extra step to have reader-friendly writing, and this is taking your structure that you've created and actually flipping it. So your bottom line is up front, and we can call this bloof or bluff. So putting that bottom line up front. Now this is creating writing and revising your writing to be focused on the reader and what the reader needs. Now in American academia especially, the reader really wants that bottom line up front. I do not want to do the hard work of searching through your writing to trying to find your main idea. So to see what this looks like, let's take a look at a revised email that Jane Doe sends to Melinda. So go ahead and pause your video again and take a look at this email. Now, for this email, we can see how much more clear it is for me as Melinda to understand what Jane wants. I understand that she is talking about workplace bullying and she wants my support to bring attention to this issue. So immediately, right up front in that first paragraph, in the second sentence even, I have my bottom line, I have my main idea. And then if I'm interested, I can keep going and encounter more of the details of the negative health detriments of workplace bullying, why she is asking me about this, and then also some specific things I can do. But really I have that bottom line right up front. So now I'd like you to go ahead and practice this. So again, pause your video and see if you can figure out how to revise this paragraph to put the bottom line up front. So hopefully what you found from this example is something like this. So research shows that praise is more productive than negative feedback. And interestingly, this is the last sentence of the before example, and all that I've done here is take it and put it right at the beginning. So now this topic sentence, as we're going to call it, has the main idea, the main thing I'm trying to convey in this paragraph, the bottom line, and then the various studies and authors simply act as evidence to support that bottom line. Now, this is a simpler example because we already had our bottom line in the paragraph. But in some cases, you are going to have to do a little work to figure out what am I actually trying to say. So you can think of it like this. A paragraph has a single main idea. So a paragraph is unified around one main idea. What you need to challenge yourself to do is see, can I state the main idea of that paragraph in just one sentence? What is the absolute most fundamental, urgent thing that I'm trying to say in this paragraph? Why am I writing this paragraph? How is this paragraph unified around a single main idea? So let's try that with a slightly trickier example. So pause your video here and see if you can construct a bottom line for this paragraph. Now this example is open to a little more interpretation, so I interpreted it this way. So I thought that Table 3 shows that spam filter A correctly filtered more junk emails than B, suggesting that it is more accurate. And then I have more of the actual figures, the numbers and the values below. Now, ultimately, I'd have to talk to the author to see if I'm correct in my interpretation, because perhaps speed is the primary factor, and so perhaps spam filter B is in fact better. But the main thing here is that we are making meaning from these various numeric values and giving the reader a single bottom line that they can then expect to find out more about in that paragraph. Now this is called a topic sentence in academic writing. So your first sentence of the paragraph is called your topic sentence, and quite simply, because we know a paragraph has one unifying main idea, all the topic sentence does is preview that unifying main idea. So it gives me that single main idea that I can expect to find more about in this paragraph. And actually, research shows that topic sentences do improve how quickly a reader can get through the text and how well they remember the information. And that's because readers pay a lot of attention when they start reading your paragraph. But as they go down the paragraph, they start paying less and less attention and even start skimming more. So you do want to put your most important information in that topic sentence. So we've really talked about these topic sentences in terms of paragraphs, but these also apply for overall documents. So to take a look at an example here, we can see how even in this paper, they're starting off a new section. But in this section, we get the bottom line of the entire section right up front. So we learn that although in the Internet of Things domain, many different standards struggle to be the reference, in this section we focus specifically on this certain standard because of these reasons. So I have the bottom line right up front about what standards we're going to be focusing on in this section and why. And so that's a very nice preview and sets me up quite nicely for this section. So this has hopefully offered you some helpful information about topic sentences and putting your bottom line up front. If you do have any more questions, you can send us an email at this email address. You can also go to our website and make a one-on-one appointment with a communication consultant to have an entire hour to answer any questions you have about creating or revising your topic sentences and your writing. Thanks so much for watching.